Let's get to this story for you. University of Connecticut, it's under fire for basically welcoming a person who supports Sharia law. She's also anti-Israel. We're talking the co-chair of the Women's March, Linda Sarsour. She's coming in for their Women's Month event. This coming just a month after another free speech controversy at the school. It was sharply criticized and accused of attempting to silence conservative speaker Ben Shapiro. University of Connecticut even offering counseling to students offended by Shapiro. Let's get to the undergraduate tuition rate for 1 year at the university is over $12,000 for in-state, over $35,000 for out-of-state students. Joining now, campusreform.org correspondent and University of Connecticut student, Arab-American Marlena Haddad, who's speaking out against Linda Sarsour's appearance. What do you make of the double standard here? Good to have you on the show. What do you make of this?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So first off, I'm a first-generation Arab American, so this took me by surprise. I was completely appalled and just overall disappointed with my university. Linda Sarsour is a very strong supporter of Sharia law, and what Sharia law believes is that women should be beaten and that women should be married off at a very young age. And the ironic part of all of this is that it's being sponsored by our Women's Department for a Women's History Month event, and to me that's just a complete contradiction.
Have you spoken to the University of Connecticut and expressed your views? Have other women said, you know what, this is the wrong person to have for a women's event because she's so anti-women if she's supporting Sharia law?
You know what, actually, I feel like it's just become so much of a norm that most of the students on our campus don't see anything wrong with it. It's something that we commonly see at the campus, Campus Reform, is that we're just so used to this liberal bias and it's being injected into the classrooms that they don't think anything of it. And the reason that the Ben Shapiro event was such a big deal is because it was the first conservative speaker that we've seen. It's the first conservative speaker that's actually come out here and actually spoke his mind and presented the facts, whereas with Linda Sarsour, it's just the same thing. We've heard this over and over again, and it's basically like an echo chamber.
So the University of Connecticut releasing a statement about this saying, quote, "We believe public universities should be places where differing views can be expressed respectfully and where our students and other guests can consider and challenge opinions." But listen, is anybody going to do that? I mean, why is this their stance now, but not when Ben Shapiro came to speak?
Exactly. When Ben Shapiro came to speak, we had to go through about basically 3 different levels of speakers. And Ben Shapiro didn't even say anything offensive. Linda Sarsour has taken it to Twitter, saying to other fellow female activists, saying, "You don't deserve to be a woman. You deserve to be beaten." And she's also supported an illegal immigrant who was involved with a supermarket bombing in Israel in 1969 that killed 2 people.
Yeah, and that person was involved with the Women's March, too. I mean, here's the thing.
Yes,
I got to hand it to you because what you're doing is brave. I mean, it's really hard to stand up in this environment. Ben Shapiro is pro-Israel. And here's Linda Sarsour calling for jihad against President Trump. Watch.
Exactly.
I hope that when we stand up to those who oppress our communities, that Allah accepts from us that as a form of jihad, that we are struggling against tyrants and rulers, not only abroad in the Middle East or in the other side of the world, but here in these United States of America, where you have fascists and white supremacists and Islamophobes reigning in the White House.
So, Marlena, are there, besides yourself, along with yourself, are there other students and individuals and parents, are they going to hold the University of Connecticut their feet to the fire to make them aware of Linda Sarsour's extreme anti-women views?
I mean, definitely. I mean, if we were to look at the college Republicans, we've all been looking at this event, and we're definitely going to try to hold the university accountable because the chief diversity officer, which first of all I didn't even know we had a diversity officer, sent out an email to students saying that if just basically giving us a heads up that Ben Shapiro is going to be there and he has a lot of views that are harmful and that mental health services will be readily available. Yeah. But we're not seeing any of that for Linda's event.
It's wild because this isn't diversity. This is intolerance against women. And you know what,
Exactly.
Marlena, to your point, the Women's March has not only supported controversial and anti-women people like Linda Sarsour, but also convicted felon Donna Hilton, who helped and aided and was convicted of kidnapping a man and torturing him to death. Also, to your point, Rasmea Youssef Odeh, who was convicted terrorist and murderer. Angela Davis, who's tied to also a communist movement, also was involved in a bad situation that involved the killing of people in a courtroom. What's going on here? How can women on the left so outwardly support people like this? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but I completely agree with you. She is not the type of person you want to be leading anything with feminism, with civil rights, with racial justice, anything like that. She's not the right person, and quite frankly, I think she's manipulating these people. And there's a lot of gullible people out there, and she's taking advantage of that. She's not the person to be advocating for female rights or any rights whatsoever.
Marlena Haddad, conservative UConn student, also with campusreform.org. Marlena, we want to have you back on the show with another report about what happened with this Linda Sarsour event. Good to have you on. Thank you so much. And you're courageous. We're really appreciative of you and your courage. Thank you so much.
Thank you.